Hey there, it's Chris, and welcome back to the sorry next part of the Bang Shishigami project. We're getting kind of excited here because it's now that we've blocked out the right leg and right foot here, it's starting to look a little more like something. Where it's almost like we're no longer focused up here. We're starting to turn the corner. Not quite there yet, but we're starting to. Whereas the goal of last time was just to kind of get the leg started. This time is trying to more match this to this side. So we have a little swirly do details on the side we'd like to do on that. And we do have the big old knee guard to do as well up top. In addition to that, we can also kind of smooth down the edges of this. Right now these are just kind of squared, these just kind of squared off. We need to kind of actually angle them down just a little bit. And then we have kind of reshaping the claw kind of foot area to be a little more correct. And then we'll have this one match the new one. So quite a few things we need to get done. At the same time, I had previously decided that don't need to worry about the edge of this, because where the knee guard comes up and over, you can see on the image on the side, the pants are just going to flop over the edge. So I don't really need to worry about the back edge of this at this time. So I can just put the knee guard in, then the pants are going to hide whatever the end of this winds up being. Because some of this may wind up being in the pants. His leg may actually be slightly higher in the end. But once the entire thing is modeled, all of this is going to be hidden by the pants anyway. So even if the anatomy here is not 100% correct, the next step when we get into that will rectify any of those minor changes going on. So, where are we going to start? First thing I just want to do is do a little back of house. I'm just going to kind of clean off the edges of this just a little bit, because it's a little easier to do that right now before little swirly do things go on than after. And this thing is still not the easiest to get out of its stand. Okay, where's the camera facing? Camera's facing right there. What time am I starting this? That might be good to know for later. So, all right, just kind of angling down, and then we can pull off the excess here. And I'm very quickly running out of room on what I can and cannot grab on this guy. Which is both good and bad. It's bad for physically doing it, but good in the fact that it means we're almost at the hardening phase. So we're getting close. And that said, I'm hoping for much success today, because it's been a long day today. I've just had one of those days you'd like to be able to kind of take back and redo and just want to have things go well that didn't. And I guess it all begins with stripping wallpaper is the project of the day. And as you can imagine, didn't go well. In fact, this is probably about the worst attempt at wallpaper stripping as I've ever seen. And I've been doing it for a while because I have to laugh. Because back when I first started working, I did the architecture in college, then I wanted to see what the other end of the spectrum was, so I kind of started during the summers. I went and worked as a builder, just because I wanted to see, on the one hand, I was learning the drawing side, but I wanted to know the hands-on side as well. So the very first project I ever had to do on my summer works was stripping wallpaper. So I've now come full circle, and it hasn't gotten any easier. There, generally speaking, you have two ways you can go about doing it. You can get a steamer, and you kind of get one of those kind of score things, roll it around, it kind of scores the top of the wallpaper, and you get a steamer in there which gets the water, heat up the water, and then the mist gets inside all those little holes and kind of breaks up the hold that the paper has on the wall. And then once you scrape the top of the paper off, you can then go and start taking the glue off underneath it, and it's a whole process. The other way is same, you still score the holes over everything, or you can use a chemical stripper. And it does essentially the same thing. You make all the holes, you spray it on, you wait like a minute or two, come back, and you can then start pulling off. In theory, the paper is supposed to come off nice and easy that way. And I'll be honest, this was the worst paper I have ever seen. Not that I do it super often, it's usually like once every couple of years it may kind of pop up, but this one just did not want to go at all. And it's not like I had much to do. It's a frieze at the top of the room. They'd wallpaper like a 9-inch wide frieze at the top of the room. And it was just try to pull that off so we can paint everything. And yeah, how long did it take? I guess per hour on this 9-inch frieze, I was averaging about 3 feet by the end when all was said and done. It was miserable. It didn't want to come off, and when it did come off, it was taking like bits of the plaster and bits of the sheetrock and whatever was. One section was sheetrock, one was plaster. I guess one side had been quote unquote fixed before, but it was pulling stuff behind, so we need to re-spackle the whole thing anyway. In the end, it was not a good day. You look back at the end of the day and you're like, wow, that's it. I worked the entire day. Felt like I was busy the whole time, and yep, that's what we did. Awesome. So hopefully on this I can get a win today. That would be great. Because we need to get that as far out of the system as we can. I know, we get these types of days. They happen, but just get it out of the system. Tomorrow will be a better day. Because it's kind of physically hard to not be, but not just mentally, tomorrow is going to be a better day. That's at least the good news on my part. The thing's making me feel nice right now is like I said, I'm usually about a week ahead of where I'm usually recording these about a week ahead now of where I'm actually sending them out. So I finally uploaded, or the next video ready to upload is number 6 on the list, which means I am pretty much now done with this core for real, both from what you've seen and from what I've seen, because I think I have that. I believe it's one more just kind of touch-up-y kind of thing after that, and then anything else I'm doing on here is kind of off camera to kind of finish off any little detail-y things that are left. And I'm still laughing because I don't know how long it took me to figure out this area. It's like every single rendering I had like the lats when they came down rendered differently. And yeah, it's one of those things I don't understand how it took me as long as it did to figure out. But we got there in the end, but dang it. that was a process. Okay. So I said the benefit of doing this on one side means I now know how to do the other side just as good. And you know what? I did that side like 3 days ago. I did nothing yesterday. I think I did one video. Actually, that was the video after that. So it feels like it's been a long time. I guess it's only been a couple days. But it feels like it's been a long time. In fact, we're going to need a big old thing. I still have the wrong guy in the background. Let's go and stick you up here. And that's not the image I want to move. Thankfully, that image was turned off. There we go. We're going to be dealing with this. You know what? Let's go back to you so I can actually see what I'm doing. Same thing, other foot. And last time I just kind of made it real skinny, and then I kind of packed out afterwards. This time, we're just gonna see if we can get this right kind of from the start. We want a skinny bottom, and then it goes out wider, and then kind of comes in. So, you know, I could use that, or, whoa, I have lines going all over my preview. That's awesome. We're gonna be a little lower than that. That's cool. Let's ironed you out just a little bit. Back to my old school methods of ironing things out. Gonna come around. You're still gonna be a little high that way. We're gonna have still high. Something like that. I know you couldn't see any of that, but I can assure you it was pretty cool. And we're gonna get this 100% wrong on this first go. But that goes up there. Our guard comes around. We're gonna have some stuff to fill in. That's okay. Yeah, I do want to change the shape that I have of the other one just a little bit. I have this one going straight up and down, which kind of one rendering on him does. Actually, the one I'm kind of basing it generally off of. But every other one is a little more like this, where it kind of comes out and then in. So, again, every drawing is going to show something slightly different. So I'm still kind of piecing together bits and parts of the ones I like. So it's not going to be 100% identical to the image on the, well, the other image on the side. This one. And that said, I can tell even my pose is slightly different than it was yeah. But at this point, I'm not going to do any massive changes to things. We're just gonna let things slide. We're just gonna be okay with that. Because again, this is art. Artwork does not have to be a literal translation. The goal is to make it as literal a translation as I can. But at the same time, I'm also here to make progress. I'm not one of those guys doing the 150, 200, 300 hours to make a model to be absolutely precise and good and perfect. We're gonna make this look good, and we're just gonna move on. Because you're already probably tired of watching the same thing barely getting progressed as it goes. So let's go and do something about that. Okay, so we're going to have you come out, and then we want points to come from about here, up, and from there up. And I didn't cut all the way through. Well, that looks like a super even cut. Good job, me. Can we try? Nope. Right. Okay, well that's certainly a starting point. We're gonna use that as a starting point and make it better. Because I believe that wants to be a little better. And I just cut a piece and lost it behind. Get out of there. Okay. That's out of there. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, so just for kicks and giggles, you were about that high. You're actually significantly lower than that one. Okay. Again, it's clay. This isn't wood. We can stretch it. And then fill in after. Nope, wrong way. I will never use a compass correctly. I will always spin the dial the wrong way the first time. Every single time. It's just, I don't get it, but it's always gonna happen. Every single time. And generally don't have to use a compass for my job. There are times it would be nice when doing sheetrocking and like cutting out circles like the pot lights and stuff. It would probably be nice to actually have one and make life easier. But I've gotten really good at just almost freehanding a circle the right size. And although a little more probably sketchy for people watching me do that, it actually works out ridiculously well. So it does work. It just probably shouldn't work as well as it does. Because it's not one of those natural things I think people. It's not one of those natural skills I think people associate with anyone having. I can make a circle. Just like that. I know the trick of people who can do perfect circles, say on a blackboard, where you stick your arm straight out and then just do the circle that way. But yeah, no, mine doesn't quite do it like that. But it still works. Anyway, that is a nothing topic. We're not going to keep going on. So let's see if we can get this looking better. Yeah, so once the pants hit the edge of this, they're then going to flop over the backside of the calf. And so that backside of the calf is going to be, that's not the right. I keep moving the wrong image. I have so many layers on this thing that you try to click one and it just doesn't agree. It's like, no, you don't want that layer. You want this other layer. And why? Actually, let's go back to the original. How does this guy, if I come in just a little bit, yours actually almost goes straight up. So we're gonna change this view to, or this piece to actually come more. It's actually less out and in than I thought, so that's fine. We can adjust that. So right now we're just kind of mounding clay on top of this, and then we will form it after. Just give ourselves something to work with. And also this one seems like it's a whole lot, well, part of that is there is foreshortening going on with these guys. Being as that leg, you can see in the image, is way in the foreground, this one's in the background. They do employ foreshortening to make the front leg seem bigger. So there is a little bit of that going on, which actually means we're going to shrink you back down again. You don't need to go up that high. Alright, what are we doing? We're just giving it a little more of a smooth finish on this, on the front part. I see we are not even on that. Now once again, I may just go for so long on this portion if it's just kind of not working, and again, me detailing on camera some of these things is a little awkward. Most stuff it's fine. Maybe not at the end. I don't want to be just kind of pushing things back and forth all the time when I'm on camera. So I may just get this thing close right now and then just finish it off camera to kind of get the final little detail. But as long as you can see kind of what's going on, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, cutting that back down I think is helping. That's straightening it out, and it's also kind of tucking it under the boot. Because we need that to start under this shin guard or boot or whatever it's called. When that part's not connected to the front, not connected to the heel, it's a weird naming situation. So we're just going to leave it at, I think I'm just going to call it boot. It's close enough to a boot. When you look at it, your first thought's probably it's a boot. It's not until you look closer you realize, wait a minute, something weird is happening. But on first inspection, is a boot. Okay, so we have that. If I slide the wrong image over, why? It keeps auto-selecting the one thing behind here. So you actually want it coming out further, which is fine. Again, the pants are going to fill in or backfill a lot of this if this does come out kind of far. So it's extremely rough. But you know what? I think we're just gonna. I'm gonna go with that right now. I'm gonna do the little kind of swirly things. I want to get as much of this good-looking stuff on here as I can. Come on, turn. OBS is not being nice to me. OBS being the software I'm using to record. If you're not familiar with recording stuff, that's what I'm using to record all this stuff on. Okay, so I think something like that. That feels a little thin. I don't think I made you completely thick. However, I didn't make you that thin either. 6 on there sounds awfully familiar. Okay, once again, we get to play the swirly-do phase. And being as I was bad and didn't actually trace this another time, we get to do this from scratch again, which is awesome. It's gonna be nice and fresh. So let's see. So what I want to do, I want to get you down. I can shove you out of the way. And I'm going to cut that straight. And that's our height. And I had my little straight thing here before, and once again it is gone. So we just once again get to eyeball some things. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. We get them. Alright, so we are fairly skinny. It would help if I could see what I just did. Actually, I shouldn't need to cut the second one. I just need this first one. And if I put you aside that, height-wise isn't bad, width isn't bad. Okay. And now it doesn't matter if I do this forwards or backwards, it makes no difference because I can always turn it around. And rather than use the computer, I'm using this to try to visualize what I'm doing here. So we had a zig that goes up, pretty big zig. We come back, we go down a little, and then we get this big old circle thing going. Circle comes up, we get our lightning bolt thing going, and then we zig out. Exactly like that, which I wonder, this is a curiosity, can you even see? Yeah, you can see, so that's our general form. Again, we can start with that, and there is much playroom we can do on these as it actually gets installed. So the goal is to give ourselves a blank to start with, and we can push, pull, and whatever to make this all work in the end. Alright, come on, come on, come on. Be good. Don't break on me yet. Okay, I don't think this is 100% correct, but if we're close, then we have something we can work. Okay, so we're a little big. You can see we have our general form going, but we are a little big. That's okay. It's mostly on the bottom circle, which I didn't round off particularly well. So we round that off, kind of bring it down just a little bit. All right, I'm not going to move the camera up close this time. I just want to get my own visual kind of going. I think we're almost there. Almost. And it is nice to note that ever since I replaced the battery in this, or I changed out the battery for the old computer's battery, I've had no issues since. So that is a good sign. Although I know that if the AC adapter has blipped a little bit last week, it will eventually die. It's going to happen. I mean, that's kind of how it starts, with the little blips. So, but at least to date, we're still doing good. And as I said, even if it does go, at least I do have a battery backup on this. Why am I trying to put this on? Now it's getting stuck. Do not stick. Just put you on here, put you on the big piece, and then just cut you out of the big piece. No reason to cut you out of the small piece. None. Okay, it's going to be very careful, and I don't want to put any pressure on the original one because I don't want it to stick to this new guy. That would be not good because it is so fragile. I think I had issues with it sticking last time that I don't want to get into again. And I'm apologizing right now if you're getting weird me talking, because as I'm leaning over to do this, my mouth is like right next to this camera / microphone. So if I'm breathing or whatnot into there, yeah, that's why. Because in order to see what I'm doing and kind of get what's happening, I am all up in this camera. Okay, the bottom one is a little fatter than the top. That's fine. Again, we can deal with that. What I really want is for them to come apart. Preferably nicely. Oh, it's going. Yes! Alright, success. Ooh. Okay. We did it. It works. Hey, I just slid the laptop out of the way. What a find. I found my straight edge for little pieces. Oh, my A game. This is par for the course today. This is just we are just par for the course today. Okay, I want this to stick to here because it's easier to manipulate this to where it needs to go. Let's see, we are starting off a little big, but I can shrink this kind of in place. Do I start off? I guess I have to start off actually just a hair lower too. So I didn't push it in too hard. All right, take two. Nope. I need you to hold on just long enough to get you kind of in place. I also can't do this while you're attached. So the bottom just about touches, that just about touches, so that's a little more like what we need. While I'm here, let's get the other side also kind of the rough placed in. Ooh, wow, this one is blocky. This one is very blocky. But we're just going to get you roughly placed in there. Now we can go and actually see what magic we can do to make this work. Wow, this knee guard is so bad. Alright, so again, we're going to get this in. We're going to chamfer the edges. So it looks like it's kind of embossed in here. And then afterwards, we'll put the little swirly design in it. Yeah, so let's see, what time are we at? We're at that time, so we're about halfway through. We are not going to be done with this on this session. I might do one more kind of full session to kind of finish this stuff off, go over and touch up kind of like any little things I need here. And I'll probably do a separate bonus session, quote-unquote bonus session after that, just to show how everything is hardened. Because I'm guessing it's going to be, yeah, the one more to do this. So whenever I do it, I think it's going to wind up being its own kind of separate, much shorter hardening session. You can see how that's done, what my goals are on that, and all of that fun stuff. But I get a feeling it's not going to... If I finish doing my touch-up stuff well in advance, I can do it at the end of one of them. But I'm having a feeling it's going to turn into its own thing in the end. But we are getting close. It's really get the knee guards right and getting these claw feet right. I get those two things done. The rest are really just details. I think I've determined I'm going to hold off on the neck area until I do the face, then I do the head. Then I absolutely know it's going to be scaled correctly. Just in case I scale the face slightly off, I want the neck to still be able to fit. So it shouldn't be bad, but I'm just going to hedge my bets a little bit on that. Just because I don't necessarily trust myself, which isn't good. I should trust myself. I've done it enough. That is one of the elements I have done enough. But still, it would be nice to know that that's going to work, rather than just hope it's going to work. Okay, so how do we do our little swirly-do? So our little swirly-do starts with me making sure the camera is facing the right way. And we come around, we come up. And we have ourselves a little swirly-do. Which I wish that vernacular is my own, but it actually comes from one of the streamers I watch whenever he plays. One guy, Views Pizza, whenever he plays Ocarina of Time, where he used to do the Ocarina of Time randomizers, and anytime he gets the magic, the spin, the kind of the spin attack, it's the swirly-do, and that just kind of stuck. So it's amazing what weird terminology you pick up from random places, but I'm sure you probably have your own kind of weird vernacular you use that nobody else seems to understand. I remember last year walking into a Dunkin' Donuts one time, and it was the guy in front of me in line was asking for a donut with his coworker at work. Asked him to go and get him a donut with Jimmy's, and he had no idea what that was. He asked the guy behind the counter. The guy behind the counter had no idea what that was. And I'm looking at him ahead like, really? I guess nobody's been to New England before. Then does he want a jelly donut? Does he want this? Like, no. He asked for Jimmy's. Like, everyone's kind of looking around like, what? It's like, no, it's sprinkles. He wanted sprinkles on his donut. It's just words people use. Everyone has their own kind of vernacular. Again, you pick up, no matter where you go, you always kind of pick up different types of phrases for things to any kind of given location that you're at. It just happens. Hey, we got ourselves a little doohickey design. Do the same thing on this side. Make it look good. Oh, right. We need to make this a little more lightning bolt-esque. So let's cut some of this off right away. Yeah, I wish I could go somewhere else with that train of thought, but I'm now, once you kind of put yourself on the spot, it's like, oh, I'm drawing a blank now where to go from that one. I don't have an extra one off the top of my head ready to go. And that's that. End of story. Good story. This is what it means to be a content creator, always on your A game. Okay, now we go and chamfer the edge. Again, this isn't making it perfect. I will, once the camera is turned off, I'll do a kind of little more fine tuning. But this will do the job for right now. His arm that I should be able to cut is getting in the way. And I'm doing everything in my power right now to only be holding like the upper thighs and whatnot and nothing else on this guy. Because I know that part doesn't really matter so much. It's gonna change. That part is absolutely not done yet. Plus, it's going to get pants, so no one's going to care about that part, if it is deformed or not, because it's all going to be changed anyway. It's like when I was modeling Realm the one time, like modeling the legs out, and I'm like, why? Yes, I did it so I could scale the boots off of the legs correctly, but at the same time, it's like, you have parachute pants on, or whatever those things are called. There is no part of those legs that are visible. It doesn't matter. But you still do it anyway, just so the parts that do come off it get scaled nicely. So it's just one of those things that makes you think sometimes, like, why am I taking time doing this? That's like saying, why did I put those guys on there? I don't need them. They're not doing anything. The clavicles, that's the word. Oh, I'm drawing a lot of blanks on words recently. That's not good. Alright, time for this final swirly do. That one does not look good. First one didn't turn out too bad. This one's not great. There will be much fixing up on this one. It also helps if I put this on camera. I've been moving this thing around so much, I keep forgetting where the camera is actually pointed towards, so you can see stuff. So yeah, every now and again, I get it wrong. Okay, that's actually not terrible. Now, even though it's probably not going to be visible, I should do the one on the back as well. If only because if the pants don't come down that far, let's go and turn you off. Because yeah, I think the bottom of it probably will still be visible. And so we're going to see if we can do something with that then. Okay, at least this one I only need to do one of. Let's see, so I can just go right off of this. I can say, okay, you're that high, and you're just a little skinnier than that. Okay, we got ourselves our blank. We have, let's put you back up. Apparently I've been moving that image. Every single time I click on something, I think I'm moving that one, because that's... What do we have? We have a circle up top, zigs, zigs. So we have a zig, and a circle. You get a zig, a zig. It's like a little musical note thing. Kind of like a little musical note thing. Ah. Yeah, good thing is after this session I now have kind of the rest of the week to plan out how I want to finish this, because again, my goals is I'm trying to have one recording session either on like a Monday or Tuesday. One is probably more towards like Thursday or Friday, probably usually Friday, and then I do the other 3 over the weekend. So the middle of the week I'm trying to just kind of keep towards doing other things. So this is my early in the week one, so now I'm going to have time after this to kind of figure out the next step. Whoop. So let's make sure you kind of match. You do. So we can now stick you kind of up here. It's probably going to wind up something like that you can't see in there at all. But again, because part of this might be visible, it is worth to put the whole thing on. So let's go and patch you down a little, and the same as before. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm losing my tools. I need this guy. This is the most important tool. The back of the paintbrush. It's not like I have 25 more paintbrushes just like it in a cheap kind of bundle pack sitting right behind that wall over there. No, don't even entertain that thought. Doesn't exist. Nope. That would be crazy talk. Alright, so we got swirly do number 2, or 3, or whatever number you want to call this. Okay, so I put the knee guards on again. It doesn't look good right now, but for right now I'm just trying to touch upon a number of different areas. I don't know why, I just can't keep, I guess, focused on one part right now. But if I can now try to get this to look a little more correct, I think that will make me happier. And I just want to kind of give an experiment on this, because worst case I can just always peel this off and peel it or pop it right back on again, which means that's going to come off. And which one are we using? Okay, that's moving. I keep moving the wrong stuff. Well, I guess you're going to be at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, but that bottom claw, that's kind of what we want to go for. Like I said, this one is a little more rounded off. We got to see if we can do this. We need to add stuff to it to bring it out and then bring it back. So we need to do a little bulking, and then we're going to go and cut down to size. We're going to need a little more bulking than that, that's for sure. Oh, this thing is going to look awful until it doesn't. It's going to be one of those types where I don't think there's going to be an in-between. I think it's going to be bad, 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 and all of a sudden instantly, hey, that works. Those are always the best, because we never know when good is going to strike. Okay, so what I want to probably pop all those lines on my computer to come back off. Don't need those there. And I want to get some glue on that, because no matter what, there will be glue on that. No matter what happens, I do want a solid bottom. Now the shape over top and all that may change over time, but we do want that part at least to be glued. Okay. And yeah, glue is, there are certain tools I do keep to the side that I can always kind of like re-grab as need be. Glue is definitely one of those. Glue is super helpful to have. It's really bad when you don't have it and you need it, so. It's like my truck. It's full of tools of anything you can possibly imagine to build your house, and the vast majority of the time, don't need any of it. But when you do need that like one specific tool to kind of save the day and get everything done, man, oh man, is it good to just have it sitting right there, ready to go. Oh, you need that jigsaw you use like once every 3 weeks? Sure, got it right there. You need that router you use once every 6 months? Oh yeah, it's sitting there. It's ready to go. It's just waiting for the call. Because when I don't have it, it gets kind of embarrassing and we can't get our job done. So, okay, this is already, it's super blocked out. Nothing feels good. Nothing kind of looks smooth or anything, but it's already starting to feel more correct. So this is good. Because again, whatever I do on this one, I'm going to do on the other. And we're already getting a little more of that kind of Raven's Claw kind of look to it. I just messed up the first side, which is fine, because, yeah, reasons. Now we are going to need am I even on camera? Oh, when I stop talking, that means I'm thinking. Okay, so that's a little more like the form we're looking for. So I think we're heading in the right direction. We're not there yet, but we're heading in the right direction. And I think we're probably going to spend the rest of this segment kind of getting these guys right. And then I'm going to figure out how to get the knee part to look right. Because I think the knees are going to take, I think, a different approach to get that to work. So I want to give myself, I'll give myself the time to just think that one over, how I want to approach getting that form correctly. But I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. Now we have you wrapping down, but this itself doesn't need to wrap down. You're going to come in and then just come down. So this part is actually going to eventually cut itself off. Oh, it's not cutting itself off. All right, take two. This part will eventually cut itself off. Hey, there we go. It did it. Because we kind of want this to feel like folded metal. So thin is good. And also straight lines are also good. Now, right before we do the hardening, there is a trick to get a lot of little kind of things smoothed out. So we do use a bit of a chemical agent to help smooth things out. It'll take the fingerprints off. It'll kind of take out little kind of wrinkles and whatnot. It won't do structural kind of changes, but it will get a number of things so they feel smoother. But that's looking much better. Now again, the image on the side here is curving in super far. There are different images that show different amounts of curve on it. So let's see, what do we have on you? Yours is a little less. Yours is actually pretty close. These two are probably pretty close to each other. If I come back to you, oh, that is the zoomed in one I'm going off of. If we come off of this one's actually a little more straight-ish down. So depending what we use again as our reference is going to change how this whole thing feels. So let's see. So we're also going to want it to come down a little more point like that way. Now let's get the excess out of the way so it doesn't stick to anything. But okay, at least I'm feeling good. A detail is coming in. And with that, we can now do number two. Foot got a little wide though in the front, and I wonder, oh, I think what I can do is it does get wide in that reference. It then, rather than have this line come straight across, this axis line comes out forward a little bit. So I need a little more towards the inside edge. So effectively I'm only making this, I'm going to get this one side, I think 100% done on camera. We're going to start the second side, and then we'll see how much I do off camera. I still don't want to do too many structural things off camera. I know you're probably waiting for this thing to get on with it at this point, but it's just at the same time, if I am just kind of more background noise to you, then well, time's not going to be as important. We're gonna chug along. You're gonna come back. You can zone out for like a week, come back later, and it's like, oh, there are structural changes that are made. Any individually given day, it may not look like super much happens, but if you pop back in every couple days, kind of see how things are progressing, then yeah, I think it's fair to say there will be a number of good things happening. But yeah, that is the way. Kind of, oh, good. We're in blurry mode. We like blurry mode. That's awesome. This camera has no buttons on it. There's nothing I can do about that. It's like, yep, it's blurry. That's cool. I can just pray for it to change favorably. That would be great. But I wish I could do something about that. But again, I can't. I do not have the means to change the camera in that way, unfortunately. Alright, would be nice if I actually had a point on the bottom of this. That would be super helpful. It's also helpful is when you cut something out when it actually comes out. It's always kind of a little frustrating when you cut it and nothing happens. You're like, well, that's cool. I think overall I'm feeling a little wide. So let's go and shrink that a little bit. I lost some clay, that's good. Alright, this is fine. Oh, the problem with this is I'm trying to not lay it down like that and ruin stuff, while also being able to get in and physically do what I want to do. This is a very awkward section to kind of work. Alright. I'm not talking, that means I'm thinking. Deep, deep thoughts. Like, why am I doing this? Why can't this work right? This started out so good. Now we kind of got into the final detailing part of it, and it's just rejecting everything I want. Up, up. I think. Alright, I think we in there. I think we in there. Oh, and the camera actually is doing what I want it to now. Bonus. So let's see, we can do a little bit of that to the other side. So again, we need to add a little more to the front. Alright, we definitely have another full episode, or full session of stuff coming up after this. I wasn't sure how long or short this foot was going to go, but yeah, no, it's going to wind up taking pretty much the exact same length as the first side. So, and the first side still has touch-ups being done as well. So there's that. But that's coming across. Once I get this formed out, then I'll go and do kind of the detailing lines on here. But I do need the form done first correctly before anything else can be done. And this is one of the times where if I could do like a bonus long session or just kind of do more after this one, maybe do like one more session right after, then I can just say I'm done for the week on these altogether. I wouldn't mind doing it right now. However, I haven't done a run yet today, so after this is done, I'm actually going out for probably about a 10K. So it's going to be one of those evening runs again, because we're back in the 80s again during the day, and along with everything else that was going on today, my body finally just said no. I think after work, I was just mentally tired, wasn't feeling it, and no, we're doing a night run. It's going to be cooler. We already had dinner. I'm going to do one of these kind of like 8, 9 o'clock at night deals. And I'm going to be happy with that. You know what? I'm wrong. Yeah, your foot goes in. Just get you. I don't need you fully. I just need it so it doesn't slide around. Just so I can kind of poke this in. I need to refigure out how the foot itself is underneath this so it fits. But at least if we get this in here, I'm just going to smooth this out. We're going to call it a video. And then when we come back later on in the week, we're gonna be in a good place. Let's just smooth out right inside the toe. Just a little bit so it looks a little more correct. But there we have it. We have a claw foot. Again, now the basic form of that's done. So this is now just kind of little tweaking, and I can figure out this. These two knee guards, they need a lot of tweaking. Then I'll get those kind of done. Then I'll just kind of do a once over all this stuff. Again, I've been kind of manhandling things, so probably then redefine things that are kind of loose. I may just need to tweak the pose a little bit. I don't want to do too much. That's going to create air pockets inside. So I think we're off just a little bit on the pose, but it's not terrible. But yeah, no, otherwise, nope, not that. We want you refocus you in there. Get myself a nice little hero pose here going. But yeah, no, we're definitely getting a character starting. Once I get this done, once I get it hardened and the parachute pant things go on, this is going to take off. Then we start getting fun. The more we start seeing on here, the more fun it gets. So this was the necessary evil. Now we're getting into the good part. The feet always take forever. It's just, yeah, 4 hours, whatever, to do the feet. That's normal. That is absolutely normal for this type of thing. So I know it feels like it's going on for the entire week. I've just been doing these, but no, that's normal. Once you get past that, things will speed up. The pants should go by actually pretty quick. The pants and belt, those should go by relatively quick once we get to them. So just bear with it for another session or two, and we start getting into some good stuff after that. So otherwise, this is where we stand on the Bang project. And yeah, no, it's getting exciting. We are getting somewhere. So until next time, enjoy.